This is page 77 in our notes. This is working on SP4. We're talking about dot plots. And those are exactly how they sound. They are going to have dots in them. And so a lot of times you'll see 1, and then you'll see 2, and then you may see 3, and then you may see 1 like that. We're also going to talk about line plots. And line plots are like dot plots, but instead of having dots, they use X's. So maybe 1X and then 2, 1, 2, 3, and then maybe the 1 there. So they look a lot alike. Dot plots use dots, and line plots actually use X's. So this is SP4. This is not the only part of this standard. There's some other types of graphs we have to talk about. So a dot plot is like a line plot. But with dots, which kind of makes sense. Dot plot, you hear it, use dots. Instead of X's. And we will practice both. If they have X's or dots, you should still be able to read them. It's clear, organized, and a good visual way to show results. The example that you'll see that I talked with you about, we're going to go down a line, and the title is going to say teeth lost by first graders, and it's kind of underlined. We refer to this as the title. The title tells us who it's about and what's going on. Then we're going to come down, let's go 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 blue lines, and we're going to start here, and we're going to trace this blue line over to here. And we're going to go 0 to 10, and then right in the middle, a little tick should be 5. And then we need to try to space 1, 2, 3, 4 evenly in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to make them evenly spaced. And then 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9, evenly spaced here. And then we have some dots. There's going to be 2 dots on the 2, 1 here and then 1 above it. 2 dots on the 3, 1 here, 1 above it. On the 4, 1 here, 1 above it, and 1 more above that. So there's 3. On the 6, there's going to be 4 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 7, there is 1 dot. And so underneath of the numbers here, there's a label that's called number of teeth. And this label honestly helps us know what these numbers represent. So 0 means 0 teeth, and then 1, 2, 3. So this would be like 4. This 4 represents how many teeth were lost. The dots in here are actually how many total observations or how many first graders they asked. How do you know that they're first graders? That's what the title said. So how many first graders did they actually ask about? How many teeth they lost? You'd have to count the dots up, and you know that there are 12 kids that they ask, or they may call it 12 total observations. So we know about statistics, you're collecting data, so they took 12 total observations. There's 12 dots, 12 kids. So a dot plot, things that we know. The title is basically a summary of the statistical question that was probably asked. So the type of question that might have been asked, how many teeth has each first grader in your class lost? So there's 12 kids, you got to ask each one. One says I lost 2, another one said I lost 2, one said I lost 3, another one said I lost 3, and you just keep asking. So the title summarizes that statistical question that was probably asked. The population is talking about who. Who do we know this is talking about in this particular dot plot? We know it's who, question mark, it is first graders. The label is just going to describe what the data represents. So we know this is talking about teeth. The dots are referring to how many teeth they lost. So the label is important. Your label is always going to include your unit of measure. So it needs to include the unit of measure. In this example, we were measuring number of teeth that they lost, but sometimes you may have a unit of measurement that's like centimeters or inches or number of something, whatever that may be. In this case, number of teeth. The scale, if I ask about the scale, it ranges from 0 to 10. You need to make sure to include 0. Why would you need to make sure you include 0 when you're asking questions? There may be some kids that haven't lost any teeth. And then obviously your largest number, we just need to make sure you include the highest number of teeth that a kid had lost. Now, would 100 be a good scale here? No, because we don't even have 100 teeth. So your scale, you need to make sure it has the lowest and highest values or numbers included on it. Another thing I want to talk about is measures of central tendency, and you're going to see this a lot. So we call it measures of central tendency. And if you kind of listen to that, how do we measure central tendency? Tendency means it happens a lot. It tends to happen. Central is like the middle of our data. So you can measure central tendency. It could be measured by the 3 M's. Could be the mean, the median, or the mode. So your 3 M's are your central tendency. Not all of them are the best measure of center. So we're also going to talk about that. It's called central tendency because, BC in my notes means because, the mean, median, and mode describe data in terms of central values or averages. So you can have central tendencies and they could be mean, median, and mode, and we will talk more about that. The homework that goes with this, the first thing for homework I'm going to help you get started with, we are going to do the line plot worksheet with a ruler. And we will start both sides. These are the ones where you're going to have to measure the bars in class. So I will write measure the bars in class. So I'll provide the ruler. And then the second part of your homework, you are going to pick 4 on the MM and IR worksheet. There is no MAD. You do not have to do MAD, mean absolute deviation. And I want you to do the cards on the back. You will need to do all cards. So I'll help you get started on what specific homework I want you to do that goes along with these notes.